Taiwan's military practices live fire drills a week into the Han Kuang Exercise. The proportion of workers earning less than the average wage hits a record high, but the government points to a changing workforce. Where does AI get its power from? Global experts behind cutting-edge data center technology gather in Taipei for a summit. Plus, as Taiwan grapples with a super-aged society, a unique long-term care center opens just for furry residents. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. A week into the 10-day annual military war games in Taiwan, troops in Taipei are rehearsing how to handle serious injuries in a wartime scenario. As Ellen Lu reports, the drill follows live fire exercises in Taiwan's strategic outlying islands.
U.S.-made battle tanks opened fire, sending smoke rising over the water. Taiwan's military has conducted live fire drills on the outlying Penghu Islands as part of the annual Han Kuang Exercise, simulating a defense against a Chinese airborne assault. The drill features tanks, howitzers, machine guns, and drones. Penghu holds strategic importance because of its position just off Taiwan's main island.
中共会想方设法在他攻台的时候先把澎湖拿下来，那他也可以把兵力往前推，他也可以当成他陆航基地或者防空基地，或者是后勤整补基地。
While these are military drills the country holds every year, Taiwan has in recent years come under increasing pressure from China, which claims Taiwan and has not ruled out the use of force to take it. Taiwan has been stepping up its defensive preparations, and here in Taipei, they're training for another key part of defense, treating battlefield casualties. The Taipei Reserve Brigade has been fully mobilized for this year's exercise, and here they're practicing combat casualty care, where they treat wounded troops, aiming to keep forces in the fight after an attack. The drill simulates troops getting injured while fighting off an enemy, forcing them to treat their own injuries and help other wounded soldiers. And despite a thunderstorm, the training continues. But some analysts say Taiwan still has work to do before it can fully handle large numbers of war casualties.
作战当中，我可能会产生很大量的外科式的创伤的，在我们国家来讲，所有医院加起来，外伤的病房、外伤的手术室，其实是远远不足的。
And in eastern Taiwan, troops have simulated a response to a chemical attack, learning to evacuate and treat exposed personnel and decontaminate armored vehicles. The drills are all aimed at making sure troops can respond effectively to any kind of attack. Patrick Chen and Ellen Lu for TaiwanPlus.
The presence of U.S. observers is more visible during this year's Han Kuang. Isabel Wang from our Zoom In Zoom Out team spoke with Dmitry Alperovich, chair of Washington-based think tank Silverado Policy Accelerator, who was among those observing the drills, about what he saw and what it could mean for U.S.-Taiwan defense cooperation.
You're a very active figure in DC's defense technology ecosystem. Coming here, what do you think is the current status of the U.S.-Taiwan defense collaboration?
I think it's stronger than ever, and you see at this year's exercise more and more Americans like myself showing up and observing. Obviously, we're right now waiting for the final approval of the weapons package, the weapons sales package to Taiwan. We've had a number of them over the years, and it's great to see the new equipment that has now arrived, the HIMARS systems and others now being used in these exercises.
With more U.S. presence, where do you think that this kind of collaboration is heading toward?
You know, if we're going to be in a fight vis-a-vis China, we have to cooperate. We have to not be at arm's length, right? We have to not only know that when we go left, you need to go right to deconflict, but really from targeting perspective, from the joint intelligence picture on the enemy, we need to make sure that that collaboration, that those communication links work really well.
Will you foresee there will be more U.S. personnel at presence, and then what would they interact, or how would they teach the Taiwanese military side?
Well, we'll see. As you know, U.S. personnel presence on Taiwan is always a thorny issue, but certainly we're seeing more and more Taiwanese military personnel coming over to the U.S. for training exercises. You know, watching the helicopter pilots today was great because you know that they were trained in part in the United States, in Mississippi and other places. So this is just a key indication of the growing interconnectedness between the two militaries.
So we actually had like the first internet slowdown as part of the resilience drills. What do you think that the military or like local government or even just civilians like us can work together to improve this type of resiliency?
So I think there needs to be more done to look thoroughly at the networks that are currently used in Taiwan, mobile networks, terrestrial and satellite networks, and see what can be done to up the bandwidth, to make it more resilient. Right now you have this amazing revolution that's taking place in satellite-based communications. So this is an opportunity for not just the government, but even private sector companies in Taiwan that are worried about these scenarios that can be caused, again, both natural disasters and man-made disasters, to think about how do you make sure that this most vital resource, the internet, nothing except maybe water and power is more vital, remains on even during the most dire scenarios.
That was Dmitry Alperovich, chair of Silverado Policy Accelerator. Stay tuned for the full episode of Zoom In, Zoom Out on the TaiwanPlus News YouTube channel or website. President Lai Ching-te has christened 2 new vessels for Taiwan's marine research fleet.
海洋对台湾而言也是经济发展、能源转型、生态保育，还有国家安全非常关键的议题。
The 100-ton and 300-ton vessels have been named in honor of Chen Chengbo, a renowned oil painter who was killed in a 228 incident of 1947. When finished, they will carry out surveys to help with maritime policy and security and scientific research. The boats are expected to be delivered in the second quarter of 2027. A 4,000-ton survey vessel is also in the works. Taiwan's Coast Guard has confirmed reports that the Chinese dinghy was found at a Taipei port last month. The incident came to light after a social media post raised questions about Taiwan's coastal defenses. The Coast Guard says those involved have been detained, accusing them of arriving in the country illegally. It said an investigation found officers failed to follow procedure and those responsible will be held accountable. The Coast Guard says there have been nearly 30 attempted cases of illegal entry by sea since 2025, of which 85% were intercepted. The head of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is visiting Taiwan to mark 45 years of diplomatic ties between the two countries. President Lai Ching-te received Prime Minister Godwin Friday with military honors. His delegation will also meet with prospective local investors to discuss agriculture, tech, and a blue economy or the sustainable use of ocean resources. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is one of Taiwan's 12 formal diplomatic allies. Friday's visit eases concerns that his government, which was elected last year, could switch ties to China. The companies building the hardware behind the AI boom are gathering in Taipei. The Open Compute Project is holding its 2-day summit this week, bringing together firms across the AI infrastructure supply chain. Our reporter Lili Lamantina was there to report.
AI may look like a software revolution, but behind every AI response is a massive race to build the physical infrastructure that makes it possible. That's the focus of the 2026 Open Compute Project, or OCP, summit taking place in Taipei. OCP is a global, industry-led initiative that promotes open designs and standards for data center infrastructure.
We felt like we had the right technology. We just needed to be able to interface with the right people in order to get the right solution in the application. And so Open Compute Project was the perfect place for it. And we've been participating in OCP for about 10 years now.
OCP was launched by Meta in 2011 after the company redesigned its own data center infrastructure. The idea was to share those designs and engineering practices rather than keep them proprietary. Today, data centers are the physical backbone of AI. They house the chips, servers, and equipment to train AI models. They also require enormous amounts of power, cooling, and other infrastructure. And as AI demand grows, the goal of OCP is to make building these data centers more scalable and compatible across vendors.
And OCP is very good at bringing it together and kind of getting some standards around that so we can, uniformly move in the right direction, but keeping it open so vendors like us can be involved and other vendors can collaborate and make the end result better.
That puts Taiwan at the center of the conversation.
We really see the importance of Taiwan in its place in the supply chain globally. I mean, so much is manufactured here, so much development is done here, so much technology is housed here and starts here that we would be crazy to ignore it. I mean, it's really got an important place worldwide, and so this is really one of the first places we wanted to come.
Hosting the OCP Summit in Taiwan puts that global push for open hardware together with the companies actually building it. Chris Ma and Lily Lamatina in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Nvidia is partnering with major Wall Street players to raise $500 billion for AI infrastructure. Investors, including Goldman Sachs and Blackstone, have signed deals with the chipmaker that would allow customers to deploy more Nvidia-powered systems. The partnership highlights Nvidia's growing ties with Wall Street to help fund the chips, power generation, and data centers driving the AI boom. Coming up after the break, rescuers race to find survivors after a massive earthquake in Colombia.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app or follow us on social media. And by the way, this over here is drone soccer.
There's so many things that I wish the world could see.
It is amazing to watch this captain maneuver this giant ship.
It takes 3 days to cook this. The flavor is unbelievable, incredible.
And it's my turn to make something inspired by Chef Gore. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Can you imagine that?
It's surreal, yes, so real.
I can't give up. I got some ass kicking to do.
Nice move.
We're pushing each other to explore and experiment in new, different ways.
5, 4, 3, 2.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
Not just to Taiwan, the whole world is watching.
很多时候是我们眼睛看不到的地方。
We might encounter mishaps and mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day,
it just transmits something straight from the heart.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bon appetit.
It is about the fun and it's about the glamour and it's also about something much deeper than that.
Sometimes you just gotta seize the opportunity. You just gotta do it.
Have a place where you're appreciated for you exactly as you are and where you can shine and be seen.
Is there a place you've been searching for?
We bring you stories, not just to Taiwan.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
This is a journey that will move you. Our stories are all connected. TaiwanPlus.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. At least 130 people have been killed in Colombia after a powerful magnitude 7.4 earthquake. The death toll is likely to rise with an unknown number of people trapped under rubble. John Van Torres reports.
A cheer rises around the ruins of a building in the Colombian city of Cali. Firefighters have found someone alive. Colombia's streets are littered with rubble after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck early in the morning. Across the country, an unknown number of people are trapped beneath flattened buildings. For their relatives, it's an anguished wait.
My apartment was 302, and it was completely destroyed. My wife was inside. Thankfully, my daughter had left early, and so had I. I left early for work. And look, this is what happened. We haven't been able to rescue her. We don't know whether she is alive or dead.
Colombia is no stranger to disastrous earthquakes. Another, centered in the same area, killed 1,200 people in 1999.
I've always been pretty calm, but I thought, well, let's wait for it to pass. But we saw that the magnitude was too strong. So we searched for a place where we knew was solid ground here in the square. I think that if it had lasted 5 more seconds, there wouldn't be anything left. I think we really reached the limit of resistance.
The earthquake comes as an early test of leadership for President Abelardo de la Espriella, who was inaugurated just days ago. He's declared a state of emergency.
The first priority is rescuing the people who are under the rubble. That is the priority, rescuing the people who are still under the rubble.
There's also mounting concern among survivors over how they'll make it through the coming days without access to basic utilities.
There's no electricity, no water, no power, and no internet either. And the city is practically at a standstill in terms of traffic, water, and internet service. I repeat, water.
Pledges of help are coming in from abroad, including from neighboring Venezuela, itself still recovering from twin earthquakes in June that killed thousands. But there's a realization that getting help to where it's needed may not be easy. The quake's epicenter is in a rural, lower-income region that's more difficult to access. And aid groups are especially worried about some of the most vulnerable, children.
Right now, we are trying to get some food, water, and above all, we're trying to display people on the field so we can be there with the children and establish something that we call child-friendly spaces. These are spaces where children, if they lost their parents or they don't know where they are, can come together, have some space of activities to play, to become children again, because these kinds of situations are very concerning for them.
For now, Colombians are banding together and helping themselves, though. Professionals and volunteers combing the destruction and not giving up hope that there are lives still to save. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
New data shows that more than 70% of Taiwan's workers now earn less than the average wage. The figure comes from the first half of 2026 and is an all-time high. Government officials say it is not necessarily a sign of income inequality and is the result of shifts in 2 key job sectors. Taiwan has been rapidly adding foreign industrial workers who earn less than the average wage, and the AI wave has increased the wages of tech workers. Looking at the broader economy, real wages were up for the period as pay increases outpace inflation. To learn more about the changes in Taiwan's wages, our reporter Irene Lin spoke with Yang Shuwei, Secretary General of the NGO Taiwan Labor Front.
Over 70% of workers in Taiwan are earning below average salaries. First of all, what are some major trends shown in these figures?
那它会有2个这个可能，第一个可能就是我们的这个产业的薪资差距其实是逐渐的这个扩大。第二个的可能则是我们现在移工跟部分工时的人数大增的这个持续增加的这个状况。从主计总处相关的这个数据可以看到是，虽然我们的全体受雇劳工70%以上的这个劳工他是低于这个平均薪资，可是如果我们只看本国籍劳工的话，其实这样子的比率其实是有稍微下降的这个状况。
Now let's talk about the 70% that fall below average. Who are they and what do they do?
服务业，比如说餐饮、旅宿业、 或者是其他的这个产业里面，它的薪资其实都还是偏低的这个状况，它可能只有3万出头的这个部分。企业它一直不断说，台湾人我们可能花4万块、5万块，台湾人不愿意来从事这份的工作，所以就聘雇这个移工。可是移工进来的时候，往往他们领到的就是最低工资，他可能1个月都没有休息，他的薪水也只有3万出头的这个状况。
Now, as you said, there seems to be a noticeable income gap between domestic and foreign migrant workers. Why is that?
台湾的移工分成2个样态，一个是产业移工，一个是社福移工。那产业移工的这个部分，目前他们都还是必须受到劳动法规相关的这个保障。那社福移工目前因为照顾的这个产业就不适用劳动基准法的这个保障。那其实这个有可能都会涉及到我们现在要跟上国际供应链的时候会遇到的一些状况。第一个部分就是涉及强迫劳动，第二个部分就是它是否有可能会跟本国籍劳工会有这个同工不同酬的这个部分，那它有可能就会有这个所谓就业歧视相关的这个部分。
That was Yang Shuwei from Taiwan Labor Front. Taiwan's Health Insurance Administration has released data on long-term cancer survival rates, part of its work to combat the country's leading cause of death.
透过病人的癌症历程照护，我们可以从筛检、诊断、治疗到追踪病人的相关的数据，将高风险的病人找回医院。
The data shows that patients with some cancers like breast, prostate, and cervical have a strong chance of survival 5 years after treatment. But pancreatic cancer, often discovered later, remains a major killer. The health body is promoting early detection and screening through its health app. An animal shelter in New Taipei has been transformed into Taiwan's first long-term care center for animals, aiming to provide comfort and better treatment for elderly and disabled cats and dogs. Our reporter Cindy Chi went to visit.
Xiaoman arrived at this new Taipei animal shelter earlier this year, unable to stand on her hind legs. And now she's slowly getting back on her feet.
小曼大概是今年初，因为民众通报她躺在路边，所以我们救援回来的狗。她来的时候其实就是躺着，完全后脚没有办法起身。我们大概前1个礼拜给她止痛药，然后给她神经的保护药剂，所以大概1个礼拜之后，她慢慢可以起身，也比较不痛了。然后之后我们就是会之后就进行其他的复健，就是让她多动。
Xiaoman is receiving specialized care at this shelter, which has been transitioned into town's first long-term care facility for aged or disabled cats and dogs. Although its current residents are all dogs, it's designed around the needs of these animals, combining daily care, rehabilitation facilities, and activity spaces.
收容的动物就是年纪越来越大，然后有些其实部分动物因为年老，或者是不管是有一些疾病或者是行动不便，它在一般的收容环境下其实是很没有生活品质的。像我们这边就是提供我们收容动物的一些比较基础的一些健康评估，或者是它有一些老年疾病的一些管理，然后甚至它老了有一些关节问题，会提供一些它的疼痛的控制。然后另外的话，我们可以做针灸的治疗，还有一些水疗跑步机的复健。
The facility is not just for the older animals here. The support extends beyond the shelter. People who adopt animals from shelters in New Taipei can take advantage of free veterinary care for life. The services also extend to other pet owners, with monthly courses on how to care for aging animals. Government figures show around a quarter of the nation's nearly 2.8 million registered pets are considered elderly. Despite the upgraded facilities and additional resources, the center says more help is needed as it continues to face staff shortages.
因为一早来他们的犬舍会比较脏，对吧？我们要先把它清干净，然后喂他们吃饭，喂2餐，对啊，然后有需要喂药、喂营养品，对，然后就是有一些需要特别照顾的啊，譬如说不会走路的、不会吃饭的，对啊，就是协助他们。最辛苦的部分其实要看狗的情况啦。如果是说像狗没办法自理的狗的只数多的话，对啊， 就会比较忙不过来啦。
That is when people like Jason Zhu, a volunteer foster caregiver, step in. Zhu has been caring for Dabao, an older stray dog, for months at home, because he requires round-the-clock assistance that the center cannot always provide.
长岛区的这些工作人员下班之后，他很有可能就是隔天来的时候全身都是屎尿，因为他行动不便嘛，所以有时候在上完厕所的时候，他没有办法离开，他可能就是用翻滚的方式。其实他到我们家，他其实是蛮爱干净的，因为他有时候他想要上厕所，他会叫，然后当然吃饭啊、喝水啊，他都会叫，那我们就会尽量满足他的需求，这样子，至少他有生之年，他可以有一个比较在家庭生活的环境。
Today, the center cares for around 20 dogs. And while finding homes for elderly or disabled animals remains difficult, the home and its foster families are working to give strays like Xiaoman the comfort and care they deserve in the years they have left. Klein Wang and Tani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to France for a pig squealing competition. I'm Betty Chen, take care and see you next time.